Yes. So all of us began an awesome journey when we left the spirit world and entered this often challenging stage called mortality. We brought with us the great gift of God, our agency. The prophet Wilford Woodruff said, God has given unto all of his children individual agency. We possess it in heaven before the world was, and the Lord maintained and defended against Satan. By virtue of his agency, you and I and all mankind are made responsible beings. Responsible, of course, we pursue the lives we live and the things we do. I've been thinking recently about the choices and their consequences. It has been said that the gate of history turns on small hinges, and so do people's lives. The choices we make determine our destiny. Joshua of old declared, "Choose you this day whom ye serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." I have lived my life making my own choices, most of them good and some bad. I have had many experiences in my life that have helped me get to where I am today, choosing to serve a mission. Which leads into why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why I chose to serve my mission in teaching the gospel of Christ. There are a few reasons I chose to serve my mission. Of course, there's the very obvious reasons of growing up in the church. It has always been something every young man should do. I was always told a mission is not for everyone, and that I get to choose, which always kept me thinking whether I would do it or not. Even though my parents would always say, when you go on your mission. The first initial point of me wanting to serve was when my oldest brothers served their missions. Yet I had not fully decided if I would go. A few years went by, and being idle, not knowing quite sure what to do. When one of my very close family members passed away, and circumstances brought his older brother to live with us. Another older brother I had to deal with, my cousin Josh. When he moved in, my everyday life changed. As simple as sharing my clothes, having to pick him up from school. It was almost like having a little brother, but he was definitely older. In my eyes, it was almost a burden, which makes me seem very immature, but it was a huge struggle for me to adjust to. About a year had gone by with him living with us, when I realized Josh had been through a lot. And he had to adjust to our ways of our family and rules. And he started to change. And at this time, my brother Clay decided to go on his mission, which was probably one of the hardest things for me, because I feel like me and Clay are more like twins than my two oldest brothers. Anyways, after Clay had left on his mission, our stake on pioneer trek in Wyoming, where the first pioneers crossed into this valley. I'm not going in depth about this, but there's one event that took place. And on trek, there's this thing called testimony meeting, where everyone gets the chance to bear their testimony at the church to each other, which is every youth's least favorite part. So of course, I'm sitting in the back row with my friends, not really paying attention, and then I noticed my brother Josh get up. He began talking about his brother he had lost, and how way I had replaced him. He said how I was a huge example to him in his life, and help him decide to serve a mission. Now when you see things from my point of view, Josh was the example to me, along with my three older brothers. So when he said that I was the reason he decided to serve a mission, my mind was blown. Because without the example that he had set for me, I don't think I'd be where I am today. He was a huge blessing in my eyes, yet he thinks it's the other way around. And the story doesn't end there. Josh left on his mission, and I graduated high school and seminary, and I was the failure to launch kid who had made some dumb mistakes, which postponed my mission. Which brings me to the one thing I have learned, and President Austin talked about in this priesthood meeting some years ago. We don't always find ourselves as indecisive as Alice in Alice in Wonderland. You remember that she comes to a crossroads with two paths before her, each stretching onward, but in opposite directions. She is confronted by the Cheshire Cat, of whom Alice asks, "Which path shall I follow?" The cat answers, "That depends where you want to go. If you do not know where you want to go, it doesn't matter which path you take." Unlike Alice, we all should know where we want to go, and it doesn't matter which way we go. The path we follow in this life definitely leads to the path we follow in the next. Decisions are constantly before us. To make them wisely, courage is needed. The courage to say no, the courage to say yes. Our decisions determine our destiny. I knew the path I wanted to take was to serve a mission. Knowing that it would be 4 years now instead of 3 before I got to see my brother again. So I submitted my papers for the second time. Then one of my best friends sat me down and he asked me if I really wanted to do this. He was making sure I wasn't doing it just because my mother or father told me to do it. And I told him I was doing it for myself. And surprisingly, I began to cry. Because I knew my best friend truly did care. Then I received my call, and I could not be more excited to get to serve in Buenos Aires, Argentina, the Spanish speaking. And to me, that was a huge blessing. I was expecting to go stateside and not get to learn the language due to the fact that it was the second time I had submitted my papers and for medical reasons. Not that it is a bad thing to serve stateside or not get to learn a language, but more me feeling left out, seeing how my 2 oldest brothers learned Portuguese and served in Brazil, Clay's in Russia speaking Russian, and Josh in Australia speaking Mandarin Chinese. It's kind of funny what I had said to my parents before I turned my papers in the first time, over a year ago. I hope I get to learn a foreign language, just anything except Spanish. Careful what you wish for, right? There are 2 other reasons I want to serve a mission. First, if you ever heard me pray, at the end of every prayer, I always say I love God. And this is one reason why I'm serving. Second is because I want to give others a chance to learn about Christ and the fullness of the gospel. President Monson said, each of us should remember that he or she is a son or daughter of God, endowed with faith, gifted with courage, and guided by prayer. Our eternal destiny is before us. The Apostle Paul speaks to us today as he spoke to Timothy long years ago. Neglect not the gift that is in thee. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. At times, many of us let the enemy of achievement, even the culprit of self-defeat, belittle our aspirations, smother our dreams, cloud our visions, and impair our lives. The enemy's voice whispers in our ears, you can't do this, you're too young, you're too old, you're a nobody. This is when we remember that we were created in the image of God. Knowing the truth provides a sense of strength and power. He goes on to say a formula with 3 very simple yet powerful remarks that give us the guidance in our daily lives. Fill our minds with truth, fill our hearts with love, and fill our lives with service. Now, I'd like to share my gratitude and say some goodbyes. Of course, thank all my wonderful leaders and teachers I had growing up, my bishop, and his old and new counselors. I want to say thank you to my friends for respecting me for the decisions I made, and for the support of all of them and all of my family. Both my loving and supportive grandparents, more specifically Justin. Even though you're still at home, you have shown great amount of hard work. You're almost done with school, so. Cole, you seem like a baby yourself, so I don't know how you're going to take care of your own kid. And then there's my coolest sister-in-law ever, Chelsea, and their wonderful kid, Kaylee. And the next few to me are much more than just friends, they're my family. Jake and Josh Shapiro, Liz, Bryson. You can't forget that dang cousin, Mike Calvin, who is much more a brother than a cousin. I could not be more blessed to have you guys in my life. And now the 2 people I've never been able to get rid of. The ones who have yelled at me, punished me, and taught me, loved me, and raised me to be the man I am today. Mom and Dad, thank you, I love you guys. I say his name is Christ, amen.